Victoria, and I'm a public programs educator and camp counselor at Lowell Observatory. For our next science challenge, we are going to be starting plants from seeds and then observing them as they grow, just like real scientists do. With all this lovely spring weather, lots of plants start to grow. So we are going to start with some seeds that you can either get from the packets you buy or from your own fridge. If you have any vegetables like cucumbers, bell peppers, or tomatoes, you can actually take out the seeds and start them, which I'll show you how to do in a couple of minutes. Now, this plant here actually started off as a tomato in my kitchen. But what happened was the tiny seeds inside started growing. And when I cut it open, I realized that. And instead, I planted it instead of eating it. I had eaten another tomato. But I planted the tomato seeds, and now it has grown into a big, beautiful plant. Hopefully, I will have some more tomatoes to eat soon. Now, we are going to observe the plants just like real scientists, and so we will need a notebook to do that. I didn't have an extra notebook laying around, so I took some pieces of paper and folded them and then stapled them. Now, we are going to write down and draw what our plants look like every single day so that we get a good idea of what they are doing and how do plants grow. That's the question we want to answer. How do plants grow? They start off from a seed like this. And then within a couple of days, they'll start growing and giving off little sprouts and growing leaves even. But you will have a better idea of this process once you observe it for yourself. You might be wondering, what do plants even have to do with space? Don't observatories only study things in space? Well, there is something in space called the International Space Station. And on the International Space Station, there is up to 6 scientists at any time. And those scientists are doing all kinds of science projects, including growing things like tomatoes and lettuce, and seeing how that is different out in space versus here on Earth. So if you want to be an astronaut, you might want to sharpen up your green thumb. First task is to take the seeds and start them. So to do that, we're going to need a damp paper towel, something like this, just wet enough that there's a little water on it, but not super soaking wet. I folded mine in half, about double. Next, you're also going to want to take a piece of food that has seeds in it, something that grows out of the ground. So we're talking about all of our favorites, fruits and vegetables. For example, I have here a cucumber slice. Make sure to have one of your tall friends help you with any sharp knives. But to get the seeds out, we'll just use some toothpicks. So what I like to do is I like to take one toothpick and just sneak under the seed like that. So once you have your seed, go ahead and place it on your paper towel. We're going to take out as many seeds as we can here. And just place them in your paper towel. Another one. Make sure to spread them out so they're not all right on top of each other. And it's okay if you get a little cucumber gunk in there too. That's the technical term. Do we have any others? You might have to dig down kind of far if you want more seeds, or you can always have someone else slice up another piece for you. Alrighty, so here I have a bunch of cucumber seeds on my paper towel. And my next step is to just fold it up. This is the easy part because we want the seeds to do their own thing. So fold it over. I folded mine in half. We'll just do one. And then you're going to take a plastic bag, and our seeds are going to go inside the plastic bag. So very gently slide them on in. Make sure not to lose any in the process. And take out most of the air, but you don't have to take out all of it. Seal it up, and then store it in a warm place. Make sure you can check on it about once a week or so. Make sure you can check on it just about every week. Now you've started your seeds, and the seeds will do what they want. They will grow on their own, and you don't have to do much else except observe them until they start really growing. Repeat this process with any other seeds you might have, with things like tomatoes, other melons, and bell peppers, and see which ones take longer to grow. You can also do this with seeds that come from little packages that you can buy from garden and home improvement stores. Or you can use food scraps you have already. So either way, you should have some seeds available to you. Now, I started 3 different kinds of seeds. These ones were all from packages. Now, I started these cucumber seeds, and as you can see, they're growing quite a bit. So that means it's time to pot them. I've started 3 different kinds of seeds, all from packets. These ones are sweet pepper seeds. So let's take a look. I've been recording observations about these seeds in my plant journal, which we mentioned before and we'll go over again in a bit. But let's see how they're doing. So a couple of these pepper seeds have sprouted, but they have really tiny sprouts. So we're going to leave them a little bit longer. We're going to let them continue to germinate or grow. So back to the germination process it is for the pepper. You want to wait until your seeds have grown enough so that they're strong enough for soil. I also started some cilantro because I love cilantro. Some of these look like they've gotten a little icky though. Let's see here. Oh, some of the cilantro is poking through as well. Ooh, these cilantro look like they could use a couple more days maybe. But you can see these little tiny green and white sprouts. These are the starts of new baby plants. Within a couple of days, these sprouts will grow even longer, and they'll plant these in some seed starters so that they can continue to grow, because plants can't get all of their nutrients from just this wet paper towel, so we have to put them in soil. We're going to leave the cilantro for another couple of days, though. Now, finally, I also started some cucumber seeds, and these ones are busting out of the paper towel. So, here we go, the moment of truth. Oh boy, oh boy. Wow, look at that, there are even some leaves on here. That's pretty incredible. 8 days ago, these were just seeds. So, our next task is to plant the cucumber seeds. We will open these up. And you can reuse plastic bags too, so we're not just throwing them willy-nilly into landfills. Look at all of those those roots. Wow. So, in order to start our seeds, we are going to need an egg carton and some potting soil as well. This is an older container of potting soil. Now, you are going to get a little dirty here, but take a big old handful of your potting soil and put it in your egg carton. Now, the key about an egg carton is you want it to be biodegradable. So you want it to be something that will break down very easily. A lot of things like plastic are not biodegradable, which is why we have such a hard time throwing away plastic into landfills, because it doesn't break down. And if you tried to start your seeds in plastic, the plant couldn't use up the plastic. It can't break it down as easily. So instead, we want to use something like this spongy kind of cardboard looking thing. And that will be something that the plant can break down and can use as fuel once it needs to eventually. So fill up your egg carton with just a little soil. Make sure it's nice and crumbly. You may need several egg cartons by the time you're done with all of your seeds, so you can easily stock up. Make sure you help your mom make all your omelets, though. Or scrambled eggs, however you like your eggs. So once you've got your soil in your egg carton, the next step is pretty easy. You're going to take your finger and poke it into the middle. You're going to make a little tiny well. This is where we are going to hopefully plant our cucumber plants. So it seems like most of these look a little bit too big. Alrighty, so now it's time to plant. I'm going to gently pick up your cucumber plant and identify the roots. They'll look more white. So down here, this is all the roots. And the place with the little green top and the leaves, that's the top of the plant. And you want that sticking out of the soil. So we're going to put him down in there. And just gently cover it with the soil. You want to be very, very gentle because these plants are still babies. So, just like if you've ever had a little baby brother or sister or cousin, you want to be very, very gentle. And it's okay if they're not completely covered. Then you're going to do this over and over and over again with all of your seedlings. It's okay if the whole thing is covered by dirt too, because these seedlings will eventually pop up. Look at how beautiful these are. Once these plants get bigger, you'll have to move them to a different, bigger pot. But the good thing about these egg cartons is you can just plant the whole little egg carton. You don't have to worry about digging out your plant. That's because the egg carton is biodegradable. And it's okay if the roots get crunched up a little bit too. Alrighty, so now my cucumber seeds are pretty much ready to go. One last quick reminder, as you guys start your plants and watch them grow, remember to share pictures and drawings of them with us here at Lowell Observatory. We would love to see all of your wonderful plants. Share anything you've learned about plants as well with us. That's also something we'd really like to hear. Thank you all, and happy gardening.